Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it's another day of craziness, okay? Is this the new norm? Probably not forever, but I do think it's going to be a little crazy like this for a while. And I think part of it is that's the plan. And I want to touch on that today. I actually have several different things to kind of push all into one video. I'll get to some tips of things that you should probably be doing to prepare yourself for what is coming. And then I also have some housekeeping stuff of just this channel and how to get ready in case YouTube decides that we don't need to be on here. So the first thing I want to cover is, and I'm getting a lot of response from you about all the rumors of, certain plans that are being put into place behind the scenes and certain secretive, documents that are being signed that are, going to change the outcome of what's being planned over the next week or two. I cannot really speak to that. I'm not privy to any type of intelligence that you aren't. I see the same things that you guys do online. I will tell you this. I looked into some of this, and I've watched some of it, and it's very interesting. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm not saying that it's not true, because honestly, we have no way of knowing whether a lot of this stuff is true. And if you're wanting to know exactly what I'm talking about, I can't, because it's YouTube. So you're going to have to read between the lines here. But a lot of the whispers about some plan that's actually taking place behind the scenes, we don't really know. I will say this, some of the people that are kind of spreading it, at least what I have seen, if you kind of dig into their background, they're not as squeaky clean as you would, expect them to be. Now, that doesn't mean that the information that they're spreading is false. But here's the problem. While it's interesting, and I'll admit some of the stuff that they're talking about, I agree with it happening. But far too many people use it as an excuse to just sit back and do nothing. Well, everything's fine. We don't have anything to worry about. Here in another week or so, everything, this, and this is going to happen, and our country's going to be saved, and we'll have it back into our power, and we'll be okay, and it'll be kumbaya, and just the back to peace and prosperity. That is the wrong thing, and that in itself is a reason for me to believe that a lot of the whispers about plans and just covert activity in the background could possibly be just a psyop just to keep you all calm and complacent. Doesn't mean that there isn't something happening, because aside from all the rumors that are being spread online on different videos and different platforms, there are in fact some things happening with the president and certain people close to him, things that are being talked about in the news that are very strange. Strange activity. The State Department has canceled all of their trips to Europe. The Secretary of State was scheduled to go to Europe next week to nail down some final things before he's out of office, and it's all been canceled. Just his tweeting activity on the official Secretary of State Twitter page is strange. There are some things that are a little unusual. My advice, if you believe that stuff, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. But it doesn't change the fact of how you should get yourself ready, of your level of preparedness. Because here's the thing. Regardless of what happens, regardless of if Joe Biden takes office and everything is somewhat normal with that, or if there's some other plan that happens, it's going to be chaotic for us. We're at a stage right now that I can't see any option happening that's just going to be peaceful and normal. I think that regardless, we're going to see some craziness happen. And even if the craziness isn't that bad up front, the stuff that's going to come from a Biden-Harris administration is going to be detrimental to our freedom. They have made no, I mean, they're not trying to speak in code or anything. They are very blunt that they want to destroy the Second Amendment. They've made it very clear that they uh, are encouraging and part of the censorship. And the biggest thing, really, almost even more than the Second Amendment, is that they are so in bed with the Communist Chinese Party that it's quite frightening. So, regardless of what happens, I think we're in some deep doo doo for a while. It's gonna get bad, which is why we are constantly saying you've got to get yourself ready, get your home ready, get your preps ready, get your house in order. This is something that I have been saying for a very long time. Again, I know a lot of you want me to speak on some of more, let's just say, conspiracy stuff that's going on. I'm just not going to do it here on YouTube. I may do it on another platform and just give you some of my opinions. I'll warn you, though, I try to look at it kind of very objectively. So my opinions may not be what you want to hear. That being said, it segues me into some of the housekeeping stuff. Excuse me. I got a little cough going on. Nothing bad. No, I don't have the Rona. Um, who knows how much longer I'll be able to be here on YouTube. I'm going to keep putting videos out as long as I can, but it's pretty obvious that they are just taking down conservative, right-leaning, patriotic. Yesterday, Twitter took down suspended Ice Age Farmer's Twitter account. Ice Age Farmer, I mean, he's not that political. He talks about the grand solar minimum and food shortages and crop shortages and stuff like that. They took him down. They've removed Ron Paul off of Facebook. Um, it's just every day more and more. And I think that this is probably going to continue to happen for a while. So as of right now, the best backup plan that I have is I have a BitChute account. Now, for those of you that don't know, BitChute is, another website, much like YouTube. It functions fairly similar. There is no app for it. You just have to go to through your web browser. The problem with BitChute is just like all these other smaller websites, they're getting swamped. They're absolutely just getting swamped with people, and they're really slow. I uploaded a video there. I guess it was the day before yesterday, and it took 20 hours after my video was uploaded for BitChute to process it and release it online. So things are moving at a snail's pace over there. They're having some difficulty still in their search engine, searching for videos and channels. But there's a lot of activity over there. So I'm posting over there. I'm also posting on Rumble, rumble.com. It seems to be doing pretty well. So I'll post over there. I have a personal account set up on Gab. You've probably all been hearing about that one. It's still really slow. From everything I've looked at with Gab, if they're able to get themselves up to speed and handle this massive influx that they're getting, I think it has the potential, probably better than any of them, of being the next place for everyone to go hang out, because it has a video site plugged into it that's much like YouTube, and if things start working well over there, I will certainly start using that. But I would encourage you, if you want to, I understand a lot of these places, they don't have apps. I think Rumble does have an app, but they're not as convenient, right? They're just not as convenient. They're not what we're used to. We're creatures of habit, and we get used to a certain place to go watch a video or to read information. And when that changes, we don't like it. But the truth is that we're just going to have to get used to that. We're going to have to get used to some change, because there's been a lot of change happening, and I assure you there'll be a lot more. If you're wanting to go ahead and pull the plug on YouTube, I understand. You can go over there to BitChute or Rumble for right now. I'm still looking at other things, but I also have an account on, I guess that's library.com. It's LBRY. And so everything that's posted on this YouTube channel gets mirrored over there and shared and posted on that channel also. And of course, everything's under the Prepared Homestead, so you can find me there. Now, with these other platforms, they're not monetized. So most of you, when you watch my channel, you'll probably see a little ad at the start of the video or wherever, maybe in the middle of the video. These other channels don't do that. So instead of having these ads from these companies that maybe you don't care about or you're never going to buy from, I will be putting advertisements in the videos on those channels for companies that I have vetted and that I believe are, as best to my knowledge and ability, are good, reputable companies. Other than that, it'll be pretty much the same content. I'm more free with my speech over there, so I won't be talking in code as much. All right, so that's the housekeeping stuff. The last thing we need to cover in this video is getting yourself ready. I know we talk about it all the time, but here's something I haven't talked about in a while. So we're in the middle of winter for most of you. And the next season up is spring, and that's when we got to start growing our foods. Even if you live in the city, if you live in on a city lot, or you live in an apartment or a condo or whatever, if you've not done it before, and many of you have, many of you really take it seriously about, raising and growing your own food, harvesting your own food. This is the year to get it going. There are so many things that are happening right now that this whole election and Trump and all that is really dominating everything in the news. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on. If you want to look at food stuff, go over to Ice Age Farmer's YouTube channel. He does a way better job than I could ever do. But I'm telling you, we're looking at some global food shortages. The soybean crop this last year was the smallest it's ever been. China is basically, they're starving themselves to death over there because they're running out of food because of famine and flooding and drought in certain areas. And then all this stuff that's happening and the Great Reset and everything. People, you got to get serious with your food. And so here's some tips. Number one, if you garden, you've normally gardened, this year I suggest make that garden as big as you possibly can. Grow as much food as you possibly can. Because there may come a day that you're completely dependent on that garden, and it takes a lot of food to really sustain a family out of a garden. We're not talking just, adding to your diet here and there, but really sustaining your family. So you need to start growing planting as big a garden as you possibly can. Get your seeds ordered. If you order seeds, you need to get them now because some seed companies are already talking about having shortages because people have been ordering them. There's a couple of companies I've been hearing about. I don't know any of the details. This is just stuff, just whispers and rumors. So if I'm wrong, forgive me. But Baker Creek, which is a very well-known heirloom seed company, they're having some issues. And I don't know what's going on, but I'm hearing a lot of people that they're struggling on keeping up with orders, I guess, and people have been waiting weeks or even months to get an order. And I've heard of other big companies that are just no longer selling to individuals. They're only selling to big consumers. So get your seeds ordered and get it now. Get your garden plots either ready or plan on getting them ready soon. And if you've never grown a garden, you need to start looking into how to do it. And let me tell you, a lot of these how-to videos and stuff show these elaborate, fancy, beautiful gardens. And that's all great. But when you're growing a garden to survive out of, it doesn't have to always be pretty. Okay? So do the best you can and make it as big as possible. For those of you that live in the city, you live in an apartment, you're just not going to be able to grow as much food, but you can still grow food. You can grow it in potted plants. There are certain garden vegetables that do really good in potted plants. So do the research. Pepper plants, tomato plants are just some. Plant as much as you can. If you've got a stimulus check that came in, or maybe one that's coming in, and you don't, try to figure out where to spend it on, maybe that's a good place to spend it. Getting your seeds ordered, getting things that you need for your garden, because I assure you, you need to get this going. Look at canning stuff. You need to learn how to can. You need to start buying jars. They're still kind of short supply, although I've been seeing a little bit more of them. And then the canning lids, that's where you put them on top and it seals. You need to have plenty of those because that's also been in short supply. Get you a pressure cooker, a pressure canner, and get you a water boiler canner and learn how to use them. Watch some videos, get a book. Uh, this kind of stuff is getting serious, folks. This morning, tell you a quick story before I get off here. This morning, I went and got a haircut. I usually just cut my hair myself, but there's an old-fashioned barber shop a few miles away, and it's cheap, $10 for a haircut, and it does a good job. But the main thing is, sorry, the sun's starting to really glare on us here. The main reason that I went is because it's also known as the where all the old guys hang out and just, shoot the bull. So I went there this morning to get a haircut and just see what was being talked about. And I'm telling you that the place was packed, and these guys, they're livid. They are fed up. And they're, I mean, I probably shouldn't say this on YouTube, but these guys, they want blood. I mean, they're tired of this. And that may not be the sentiment everywhere, but out here in the country, uh, they're not going to just lie down and take it. And they all agree on one thing. It's the communist Chinese that's doing a lot of this. The globalist bankers, the communist Chinese, this new world order, it's being shoved down our throat. There's a lot of stuff going on with the communist Chinese right now. The State Department, in an unofficial sense, basically has normalized relations with Taiwan when there's no longer a one China policy. That's almost a threat of war when it comes to China. There's a lot of stuff going on there, folks. People are upset, and I don't think, even if the smoothest possible transition happens at this point, I don't think a good percentage of American people are going to handle it, and they're not going to take it. So you need to keep getting yourself ready. Get your food ready. Start focusing on that. Most of you probably already have, but you really need to do it. Seeds, garden, canning stuff. And if you've not done a lot of gardening before, start doing the reading and the research and the videos and all of that, because it's good to prep up. It's good to have food stored. Get the canned foods and the dry foods and all that kind of stuff, but you can't live on that forever. You need to learn to start creating your own food. And so my mission for today in today's video is to get you to get out there and start planting your garden. Maybe not yet, but start getting ready for it, because it's coming up soon. Before you know it, it's going to be time to start breaking ground and getting your garden plot ready. So what better time than now, with all this that's going on, is to get ready for it, because I don't think that things are just going to calm down and move on, and we'll just go back to being the normal America again, at least not for a very long time. There's too many whispers, there's too many rumors, and there's too many people that are absolutely fed up with what's happening. They're fed up with what's happened over the election, and they're fed up with what's happening right now. And they see their country just dying right before their eyes. And I don't think that they're going to just give up. I mean, some of them will, but there's people around here that the more and more I'm talking to them, I'm actually pretty surprised. They're not going to give up. So get your houses in order, folks. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.